Present.
All present and accounted for.
Thank you, clerk. First on our agenda is to approve our minutes from last month's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Trustees? Trustee Amora?
I'd like to make that motion to approve the minutes for the June monthly meeting.
Do I have a second on the floor?
I'll second.
I have a second from Trustee Rego. Any discussion?
Yes, I would like to amend the minutes under new business, the name change clinic. That was for name changes for any purpose, not just for voters. That could be for passport changes, marriage name changes, name changes for any purpose. So if we can strike that second part of that sentence.
Clerk, do you understand that? Can you verbalize that for the record, please?
If this thing, okay, yeah,
I've already discussed this. Trustee Messner, and we're on the same page. It's not, we're not correcting.
Nothing.
I'll talk about it.
Talk loud, that is correct.
Yeah, we discussed this and we're on the same page, if that's what you're asking.
So can you reread that portion of it, Trustee Messner, so that Trustee Amora can re-motion?
So under new business, after the highway event report was provided, Trustee Messner asked the township if the township could host a free name change clinic. I think it should stop there. After that, it said in anticipation of possible new federal legislation aimed at suppressing the vote. It was not about only voting. It was about purpose.
Yeah, so she's making an amendment to an existing motion, so it doesn't have to be a motion. You just, somebody seconds the amendment, we vote on that, then we vote on the motion. Yeah, so if somebody will second the amendment.
Need a second to the amendment. Trustee Sutherland seconding the amendment. Okay, call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? No opposed. Motion carries. Number 5 on our list is public comments. Clerk, do we have any public comments tonight?
Do we have any public comments tonight? No.
I didn't. Did I comment? I didn't fill the paper out.
That's okay.
If you could comment, fill the paperwork out, I would appreciate it. It's a
There's nothing
strong.
up there. There's no papers up there.
Yeah, sorry,
There's nothing up there.
Okay.
There's a problem, can you please step to the podium?
I just wanted to follow up from the last meeting. I spoke to you about the house that we were having a problem with.
Yes?
And Congress knows, it has gone nowhere. It's got another continuous court date.
Yeah,
I called
continuous-
everybody you told me to call.
Yeah.
And so did my neighbors, and we've gotten nowhere. So I don't know if anybody can do anything, but
From the perspective of the township, we have called that motion being a continuance. It is our legal system, which the township really cannot have a responsibility of. But I could tell you that I've made numerous calls on your behalf to make sure that it's followed up on.
sure. I just wanted to let you know where the status of that was. The next court date is supposedly July 17th. The last one was June 10th. It just keeps getting continuous, so just to let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? So can we move to approval of the bills for payment? Trustee Morrow?
Supervisor, point of order, there were no agendas provided to the public, although it is available on the township's website. If you look at it on your phone, I've taken a picture of mine, I'm gonna put mine out to the public
Thank you.
It's there. It's in the binder.
It's in the binder, trustee Amar. As well. So since I'm not on the dais, can somebody read the resolution for the bill payments, please? Yep.
Board of Town Auditors. We, the undersigned, comprising the Town Board of Auditors of said town of York, having duly met at the town clerk's office on the 8th day of July, AD 2025, for the purposes of auditing township accounts, do hereby certify that the following claims or demands against said town were presented, audited, and approved for payment. See attached report, amount of $1,315,180.64. Witness thereof, we the members of the town board of auditors, set our hands and seal. The supervisor of the town of York will pay the organizations or individuals on order and sum mentioned above being the amount duly audited and allowed on this 8th day of July, AD 2025, as appears from the town certificate of town auditors of said town as above and original and filed in my office. And I'm not gonna read the whole thing, it's in my group.
Do I have a motion from the trustees?
I motion to approve the bills.
Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
Trustee Rego seconds, trustee Messner originated the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand. Excuse me, this is a roll call vote, so clerk, can you do the roll, please?
Certainly. Trustee Amore.
Yes.
Trustee Sutherland.
Yes.
Trustee Rego.
Yes.
Trustee Messner.
Yes.
Supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. Motion passes.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is township staff reports. There are numerous staff reports in the binder. Generally, I want to point out to everyone that our transportation department transported 391 people in the month of June. To note, in our GA, which is our General Assistance Program, that is the program, ladies and gentlemen, that actually provides somebody that is in a very needy situation with actual dollars. So this is a person that does not qualify on their Medicaid or Medicare, and these are people that are in dire straits. Notably, we had one client that did transition to a full-time position, which is considered a huge success in this arena for somebody to transition to a full-time position. We also did have a donation of over $200 that is noted in the board packet from the Community Presbyterian Church, and we thank them for that donation. Within the senior center report, I want to note that Jane turned 101 years old this month. Wonderful celebration with cake, and just a genuinely happy person. Whenever I walk around the senior center and I'm as busy can be, she gives me one of those smiles from across the room, and it just makes my day. Genuinely a nice lady. And then finally, in the senior center report is a request again for any volunteers. So anybody in our audience tonight, please consider volunteering for our senior center. We are in need of volunteers. We are in the middle of transitioning from styrofoam dishware and plastic flatware to reusable dishwasher safe utensils and dishware. And And again, that is a great thing, but one thing that it does do is it makes it heavier for seniors to carry their tray, and therefore we need more volunteers. So anyone who could help us and assist us in any volunteer role, we would appreciate. Please see one of our trustees at the end of the meeting tonight if you're interested. Trustees, any comments from the staff reports? Trustee Moore?
Mr. Supervisor, I had spoken with our staff at the senior center, and I had suggested that possibly we mimic something I've seen in another senior center where we have a designated birthday celebration each month, so that we don't slight anyone. For example, it would be on the first of the month for anybody who celebrates their birthday within that calendar month, and we would provide a cake for those seniors at the center on the first day of the month to celebrate everyone. And then we would list the names of participants, anyone celebrating a birthday that month. Because we know, we've many 79-year-olds out because they haven't quite made it to 80 yet. So we do have a lot of guests in our dining room, and I think that would be something that they would appreciate.
Thank you. Any other trustees to comment on staff reports? Trustee Sutherland?
Yes, thank you.
Last month I asked, did have any information on how many passports have been processed? I can't hear you.
Last month you asked regarding passports.
Yes, so I asked, how many passports were processed? What is the, have you been communicating or publicizing those services? It was in light of people having trouble getting real ID appointments, and passports are a form of ID that you can use to get into federal buildings as well as domestic travel. So I was curious to know what is our count of passport services that are processed in the township.
I don't have that report in front of me right now, but I will get that report to you and make that report available online.
Great, thank you.
Hearing no other comments towards staff reports, can we move on to trustee reports? I would ask each trustee just to make a very brief comment of their report, and then a brief discussion of any other trustees after each person. Can we start with trustee Moore?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yes, I focused this month on the food pantry. The report is a few pages that's available in the binder up front. But the main consideration is that we would be very much in need of a volunteer who could come in daily from roughly 8:30 to 12. So when staff goes to lunch, that volunteer could assist staff. We have various needs. Those two members people, which would be John and Kelly, they have other duties in the building. They have to leave the building to go and pick up items sometimes. So having a volunteer there could help them despite collapsing boxes, filling shelves, waiting on clients when they are waiting other duties would be a significant benefit to the pantry.
Okay, thank you. Trustees, any comment towards trustee Moore's report? Okay. Move on to trustee Mester's report.
Once again, I have the full, I'll just talk really loud. Once again, I do have the full report in the binder. It's, a full page long, but I'll just hit the highlights. We have been continuing to work on logistics and concerns about bringing a name change clinic to the township. That probably will be happening for several months. We for the legal firm that's going to be offering their services to us for free. One of the other things I've been working on is we had the start of conversations on bringing another tax assistance program into the township. This is not for seniors, this is for low income. We still have the senior tax assistance program. It's not in this location right now, but it's still in western suburbs. So this would be bringing back a tax assistance program for low income families. And that would be using the nonprofit called Ladder Up. And I'll have meetings with them next month. Other than that, we just keep working on better bill auditing processes, and we've all been walking in the 4th of July parade together, and attending the senior center 4th of July event too this month. So that's kind of the highlights of my report. Any questions?
Any questions, trustees? No questions, hearing no questions, I'll move on to trustee Rago's report.
Thank you. My activities this month has mostly been focused on, my focus was on 3 items. One, coming up with a request for proposal for the strategic plan, which we gave the presentation on at the last meeting. I submitted that for everyone on the board to review. The other thing that I focused on is the mental health board. I'm on the Southern Illinois Mental Health Board. And I attended the meeting in June, and then met individually with several of the board members, and we've discussed some items that are going to be coming up. We also have discussed having a mental health fair in the fall, so that's still something to be determined. And then the last thing that I was working on was the redesign of the website, which I submitted an outline of to the board for their consideration. And that pretty much summarizes what I've done.
Thank you, trustee Rago. Trustee Sutherland, would you like to highlight anything?
Yes, before I move on, I would love to talk to Mr. Rigo for the website design. Would there be an opportunity to create like a dummy version of the website before it becomes public, so we can play around with the different menu bars and the different layout to provide you? Yes. So that way we can, because I would love to be able to provide feedback on the user experience of it.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
the issue is one of access. There are staff members that have access, and I myself, but we don't have access to the website, so we can't do anything to change.
Okay, so we didn't get, how are we going to get access?
We'll gain access to it and or use our IT consultant for that we use. We built the website.
Okay.
Are we considering looking for a different IT firm? Or are we?
Always.
Okay.
I think we're always considering.
Okay, that's good to know, because that was going to be another question I had, is the web designer, if that's something that can look to
Yeah,
a,
I think so.
great. Actually, one question about the RFP, we can talk about that in 2014, yeah, correct. All right, move on.
Other questions?
Any other questions from the trustees on trustee Sutherland's report? Or trustee Rago's report, Steve?
So I will move on to my report. It's not in the binder. I do not have full report printed out. However, some of the activities I've been involved with this month, I am looking to explore different youth services that are offered at the township level across the other areas. So I'm meeting with the main township deputy supervisor or deputy administrator. They have a
You're cutting in and out. I'm sorry.
So my activities this month, I don't have a formal report printed out in the binder, but I will speak to some of the things that I've been working on. But one thing that I'm looking into is exploring youth and family services at the township level. I reached out to Maine Township, and I will be speaking to their deputy administrator to talk about the different types of programs and offerings that they provide for youth and families. Specifically about like how they structured, what is the management of the different programs, and what is the financing of that. And I reached out to Maine Township specifically because I personally grew up in unincorporated Maine Township, and I benefited from the services that were offered then some 30-some years ago. So I have really wonderful experiences there, and so many families call North Township home, so looking to explore different options and different opportunities there. Similarly, I'm also researching into what kind of library services are offered at the township level. This is something that townships can provide. Again, looking back to my experience growing up in unincorporated Maine Township, I did have access to a library because of the way that the library district was set up, specifically to cover some of the unincorporated residents. And I know that there's some discussion on, how can unincorporated township residents get access to library services. So again, looking to explore how other areas have done this and what it looks like, how it's structured and financed. Another thing I'm looking into is being more involved in social media communication, getting information out to the public in advance of meetings or any other events. And we have a social media page right now, and we're doing well publicizing stuff, but I will get more involved in that. And my to-do list is the forensic audit. We'll be more into that and reaching out with how we can perform a forensic audit, look at our finances, because last month, if you recall, there was a $600,000 gap in what was reported as our capital, and we need to understand how that happened and what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen again. Accurate records are extremely important. Those are my items. Any questions?
Thank you, Trustee Sutherland. We'll move on to item number 9 on our packet. That is titled Midwest Mechanical Contract Cooling System Replacement. Anyone that's been to the township on a regular basis experienced during our hot weather in the past couple of weeks that the township has struggled with cooling. Our cooling unit had a leak last year. That cooling unit, because of the leak, then fried the 2 compressors, and the replacement cost for that, listed in your packet, grand total is $399,716. I'm asking the board tonight to approve that through a motion to sign a contract with Midwest Mechanical for that purpose. Midwest Mechanical is a qualified purchasing group co-op, so they meet the criteria of a purchasing group, and therefore no 3-bid process is necessary. And if you could all imagine the fact that this is July, it is sort of an emergency to get this done. Midwest Mechanical is also the in-house contracted HVAC provider or vendor of the township, and has an ongoing monthly maintenance contract with the township, so they are very familiar with the system. They have also stated that they hope to get this done by the first week of August. And if you read in the contract, there is a date in the contract for that purpose, to make them attentive to our needs. spoke to Midwest Mechanical today. They have already released their PO for the unit to then be shipped into them, and they are marshaling their resources for temporary cooling because as this replacement is taking place, the time frame is about 10 days from the time they shut down the current unit to the time the new unit would be up. So part of that grand total that's in your packets includes temporary cooling during that phase of the replacement. Trustees, before I ask for a motion, any point of clarification on anything that I presented?
Go ahead, trustee Moore.
Mr. Supervisor, so we're authorizing the expenditure of this amount of money, but if we, circumstances determine that the amount would come in less, all this does is authorize the maximum amount we would be spending for this purpose. Is that correct?
Yes, it's an up to amount.
All right, thank you.
So can I have a motion for the authorization for the purchase and installation of cooling equipment in the amount of $399,716.
I would like to make that motion.
Trustee Moore, can you read the motion just so it's clarified for the clerk?
Yes. Trustee Moore, I move the purchase of cooling system for the township building for the amount of $399,716, for which will be cover all replacement costs incurred.
Trustee Moore is first. Can I have a second, please?
I second the motion.
Trustee Sutherland, second. Any discussion? Trustee Moore?
One of the reasons I made this motion is that because a lot of people don't know that the township offices are emergency cooling center. It's considered when there is a heat emergency, this is one of the designated cooling centers for the area. Because it's an emergency, the normal channels for reaching out for these type of assistance through state, federal, possibility getting through our elected representatives, that's being looked into currently, but that does not mean that it will actually happen because there's certain paperwork that has to be filled in. We just cannot delay making this purchase. None of the windows in this building open. We do have a lot of seniors here during the day. We can't put those seniors at risk, especially those who may have to come here because it's the closest place in heat emergency. We also are under talks right now. The state of Illinois may be able to lend us the temporary air conditioning units. They were purchased a few years back for one of their offices, the Secretary of State's office of lost air conditioning. So if we are able to secure those, and that's being worked on right now, then that would drop the cost down while we're off the building.
Thank you. Hearing that discussion, having a first and a second, can I call for a vote? All those in favor? Sorry. Clerk, can I have a roll, please?
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Sutherland.
Yes.
Trustee Rager.
Yes.
Trustee Messner.
Yes.
Supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, no nos, motion passes.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is the walk-in refrigerator and freezer. I brought this up in an agenda just as a matter to ratify our emergency declaration from last month, because I do have some numbers. That being said, the walk-in freezer and refrigerator came in at $52,021 for the replacement of those. I'm asking just for the board to ratify that through a motion, because that last, the minutes did not define the dollar amount. So I'm asking just for clarification and, for somebody to lead that motion, the expenditure of $52,021 for the emergency replacement of the walk-in refrigeration system and freezer system of the kitchen. Can I have a motion from one of the trustees, please?
I move to ratify the emergency purchase of a walk-in refrigerator freezer to the amount of $35,650 with an additional estimated labor of $10,000. I authorize the township supervisor or his designee be authorized to take all necessary and appropriate action to complete the installation without delay.
Have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
That's the question. The paperwork that we have in front of us totals parts of about $5,650. I believe the number you just mentioned was $52,000. So the motions for $35,650 plus $10,000. What's the discrepancy between the two numbers?
The discrepancy is that I was able to receive a better bid from a vendor with a tighter delivery time. The first vendor has a long delivery time and created that issue, so I sought my second person that I was looking at, and that actually came in a little bit lower. So you have a supplementary exhibit 10 that was passed out to you.
The supplementary exhibit
Is
35,650.
correct.
Okay.
And then there would be approximately
We're
10.
asking for 52.
The motion as trustee Messner read is correct, and it's the most updated motion. I apologize, I was reading off of, an older version of the contract that I had with the vendor.
Okay, that was my only question.
Yep.
35,650 plus 10. That was the motion. I was just asking a question.
The motion was the $35,650 plus the $10,000. Yeah.
Sure.
So now, we clarified that, we have the original motion, we have the second, may I have a roll call, clerk?
Trustee Moore.
Yes.
Trustee Sutherland.
Yes.
Trustee Rego.
Yes.
Trustee Messner.
Yes.
Supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, motion passes.
Number 11 on our agenda is an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and York Township. This has arisen through our assessor-elect, Anthony Pacelli, is in the room tonight, so thank you, Anthony. In terms of finding funds to help us with this walk-in freezer and walk-in refrigeration system. The county has available funds that every elected official had to direct, and some of those funds are left over. We are still determining the amount of those funds, and I will detail that to the board when that is finalized. But this intergovernmental agreement will solidify the county actually helping us pay for the walk-in refrigerator and freezer. Any questions from the trustees?
To clarify, make sure that I have you can confirm my understanding. This is an intergovernmental agreement with DuPage County to help pay for the walk-in freezer that we just approved of $35,650 plus $10,000. The county will reimburse us for these amounts. Is that
Or a portion of that.
for a portion of the amount? Is that amount in this agreement? Is it up to 22,000?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So right now, I'd like a motion to enter into this contract with the county. May I have a motion for that from the trustees?
I will motion for the township to enter an intergovernmental contract for food pantry.
Thank you, trustee Sutherland. Do I have a second?
Trustee Amore will second that motion.
Trustee Moore, thank you. Any discussion? Now, can I have a roll call, clerk?
Trustee Amore,
Yes.
trustee Sutherland,
Yes.
trustee Rego,
Yes.
trustee Messner,
Yes.
supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 12 on our agenda is just an acknowledgement to the board that we had a separation agreement with employee Rich Hamlin. Reason why I bring this to the board's attention, it was a mutual separation agreement, meaning that both the employee and the township agreed upon this matter. All HR functions serve for us to approve. So I am just generally going to ask for a motion and approval of that separation agreement. The employee has left the employee of York Township. May I have a trustee lead that motion, please?
I will move that we approve the
Separation agreement?
for the separation agreement with the county.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Trustee Sutherland, any discussion?
What was the separation date of this employment?
I do not have that at my fingertips right now, I apologize. I can get that to you, I can get that to you. Any other further discussion? May I have a roll call, clerk?
Trustee Amore,
Yes.
trustee Sutherland,
Yes.
trustee Rego,
Yes.
trustee Messner,
Yes.
supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, motion passes.
Next on our agenda is the approval of sale of surplus township vehicle. So this is a 2010 Ford Crown Vic with, I believe it's 170,000 miles on it. Anyone that is so interested could look in the back lot. This is one of our poorest looking vehicles, does not represent the township at all, and I am seeking to sell this for value in approximately $500 is what I've established. And so moving any property, how minor it is, needs approval from this board to do. So I would ask for a motion that we sell the 2010 Ford Crown Vic. In so doing so, we will do through a public auction platform such as eBay or another platform similar to that. I believe it's Muni.com or something like that that I'm looking at to serve in that auction format. And the price that I'm establishing is a minimum of $500. May I have a motion for that purpose, please?
I would like to move that the 2010 Ford Crown Victoria owned by the township be declared surplus and that the sale of the said vehicle be on an online auction platform such as eBay for a minimum price of $500 be approved and that the township supervisor or his designee be authorized to take all necessary and appropriate action to complete the sale on behalf of the township.
Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Trustee Messner, any discussion? Trustee Moore?
I would only ask that, we're accepting a minimum $500, is the vehicle, in operation condition, is it run?
Yes. Vehicle is in operational condition, and if Mr. Hanlon was still here today, he would be driving that vehicle.
That's my understanding that, running vehicles may bring in more than $500, for whatever price we are able to sell that for. I would like to move that, funds acquired from the sale of this vehicle be applied to one of our major emergency expenditures.
Trustee Moore, are you making that as an amendment to the motion?
Yes, I am.
Okay. An amended motion. We need a second to that amendment motion. From another trustee, please.
I can second the motion. Sorry, I can second the amendment.
Thank you, trustee Sutherland. Might do a roll call clerk on this.
Okay, so, this is on the amendment to the motion. So trustee Moore,
Yes.
trustee Sutherland,
Abstain.
okay, trustee Rego,
Yes.
trustee Messner,
Yes.
Supervisor Murray.
Yes.
All right, 4 yeses, 1 abstention, amendment passes.
Thank you. Number 14 on our list.
Well, we haven't put it on the motion itself yet.
Just the amendment.
Yeah.
My apologies.
All right, trustee Moore,
Yes.
trustee Sutherland,
Yes.
trustee Rego,
Yes.
trustee Messner,
Yes.
supervisor Murray.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're good.
Thank you. Number 14 on our list is strategic plan. So we have a draft of the RFP and just a general discussion to the group and trustees. Are there any additions, deletions? Do we like this strategic plan RFP?
Yeah, I have a question for trustee Rego and supervisor Murray. I believe that this, I like the framework of the RFP. I'm just wondering if it would make sense to have some sort of like professional service kind of review it, just to ensure that we aren't missing any specific details that would be necessary for what we're looking for. My major question is we don't know what we don't know. I think it might be nice to have a glance over or some kind of professional who's worked with RFPs and creating them, so that we can make sure that we're not missing anything as we move forward to this initiative. So I guess I would feel more comfortable having someone I don't have anyone specific in mind, just to give a little bit more comfort that, we're not missing anything, because I feel this could be a pretty, major project, and it's just gonna give me a little bit of comfort, so if we can do that before we actually issue the RFP.
So I think that may, our timeline, adjust that, yeah. So I
3, discussion, and then to address your question, trustee Sutherland, the next step would be for a legal review of the RFP. That legal review has been suspended by myself in order for the trustees to provide their input first. Economically, have one legal review.
No, that sounds great, thank you so much.
So, trustee Sutherland, is there anything that could define what other party besides legal review that would be beneficial before we bring it to the legal review process? For you, trustee Sutherland, is there another entity before I provide this to legal that you would like me to investigate?
Yeah, I'm not sure who is the right person, but like a consultant who has worked on municipal like RFPs when they have gone out to bid for strategic plans and sort of selecting a vendor to assist with that. That's my thought process. However, it's discussion. I'm open to hearing other thoughts, but that's kind of what I was thinking when I was looking at our proposal.
Okay, thank you. Any other trustees have any comments towards the RFP? Did the trustees have enough time to review it in the past 4 or 5 days? And should I leave it open for review of trustees for the next 15 days? Is that reasonable?
Yes.
Okay. Next month's board meeting, we will bring this to a vote. Okay. Thank you. Item number 15, closed session. I see no need for a closed session. Anyone at the dais see a need for a closed session? None being needed. We'll move on to item 16, which is new business. Under new business, I've asked Clark, Pest Control, to give us a presentation of our current program. But prior to that, I'd like our township attorney, Mr. Olson, to give us just a little background on the township's process towards mosquito abatement.
Sure, Mr. Supervisor, and I'll talk loudly. The statutes, the township code provides that the township may provide mosquito abatement services. It's discretionary on the part of the supervisor and the board. The Township Act also allows for a referendum to create a mosquito abatement district. I believe this township had an advisory referendum a number of years ago in regards to a mosquito abatement district. I don't know what the results were, but whether it was defeated or approved, it was just advisory. So no district was created by that vote. If you were to put something on the next election ballot to create a district, it would create another taxing item on the tax bill, although very, very, very small. It would be an additional item to levy for mosquito abatement if you have an actual district. So in lieu of not having that, it is your discretion to provide it or not. It all is dependent. Now, I know you have a contract, which I looked at this evening with Clark. And again, it'll be up to the supervisor and the board to discuss how you want to handle that contract, perhaps after the presentation. But there's no action item tonight.
Right.
Just a discussion.
Just discussion under new business.
And I'm looking at the contract for the first time, even though it's a very brief contract. And I have my views about the contract, but
hear the presentation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Odelson. I'll now turn it over to Emily, and Emily, I'm gonna mispronounce your last name, so you please say it correctly first.
Sure. My last name is Kluger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Emily is the rep from Clark. I've asked Emily to give us an overview of what the municipalities within York Township do for mosquito abatement, what York Township does in the unincorporated part of the township. So, just for clarification, that is a small area of the township that we actually take care of the mosquito abatement for, and to show those similarities, and speak to those similarities, and then to speak to any of the differences.
Right, so unfortunately, the presentation is not hooking up to your HDMI cable.
That's what I told you earlier.
No, one.
Do you,
Absolutely.
do you want me to be
Sorry,
here, or
Alan,
do you want me to
I'd
be
like
up
to
there?
do it myself, but I cannot.
Not sure. Who is that? Can we make that happen? Yeah. So I do have a presentation, yeah, maybe without it.
Yeah, it's
Can
fine.
everybody,
Yeah.
can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want me to go up front, over here?
So the podium would be the best for you?
Okay, I might walk around, if anybody wants to see any visuals as I go through this, I'm happy to just show you my laptop. So, my name's Emily, I'm your rep from Clark Mosquito. For those of you who haven't heard about Clark, I actually hadn't heard of them too much until I started working for them. We're a third-generation family-owned business. We are a local company with global reach, so we are headquartered in St. Charles. We have a LEED Silver facility there, and our operations are out of Roselle, where we have a LEED Platinum facility. So like I said, we do work throughout the United States, but we also do work globally. We work with the World Health Organization as well as for other international health organizations. We do have products that are approved for use in and around organic farms and gardens. Some of those products we use right now in York Township's program, and I can show you some of those in a little bit. And we also have Earthright services. So again, aspects of our Earthright program are integrated into the Township's program, but it's not a full Earthright program. But we do use bikes, for example, to reduce the carbon footprint when we do certain services like larvicides in your catch basins. So that's just a little bit about Clark, just so you know we're not like a company that's coming out spraying out of the back of a pickup truck or something like this. And before I get into exactly what the Township's program is, I always like to start, I'm an entomologist. I am passionate about insects. I know a lot of random facts about bugs. But I like to start with the biology of a mosquito, because I don't want to take for granted that everybody knows how all this stuff works. So, I don't know how many of you can see this. I think this is, maybe you need a bigger screen. But much like a caterpillar starts as a caterpillar, goes into chrysalis, and then becomes a butterfly, a mosquito hatches out of its egg, which is typically laid in the water or in an area prone to flooding, and it spends the first 3 to 10 days of its life as a larvae, and it's aquatic, so it's in the water. And this is going to be important in a minute. So the first 3 to 10 days of its life cycle, roughly, depending on temperature and other things, it's a little wormy creature in the water. It goes into a pupal stage, and from there emerges as a biting, flying adult mosquito. One fun fact, or not so fun fact, is only the female mosquitoes bite you because they need a blood meal in order to produce their eggs. So a lot of the data we collect is really focused on the female mosquitoes, since males really aren't doing too much in terms of what we're concerned water. These are little siphons, and this is how they breathe. So another interesting thing about mosquitoes, if you have flowing water, if you have fountains and things like that in your ponds, you probably don't have a lot of mosquitoes because you need that water to be very still so that they can breathe. This is one phase of the life cycle when we can do mosquito control. When they're eggs, we can't do anything, and when they're pupae, we can't do anything. But when they're larvae, we can do a whole lot. And York Township's program is what we call an integrated pest management program, which means we're focusing on source reduction. We're trying to find as many places where these larvae can breed and where mosquitoes can breed, these larvae can develop and live and thrive. We're trying to find as many of those places that we can, and then our goal is to shut them down. The reason is that the next phase of the life cycle that we can do anything for the mosquitoes is when they're adults. And when they're adults, they're biting people, they're spreading disease, and they're flying all around. And imagine if you were to take a bunch of sand and throw it in the air, right? You're trying to catch them when they're all over the place versus when they're in one enclosed aquatic environment. So the bulk of the township's program is focused on larval control. This is sort of like just a little bit about what that looks like. Because when people think of mosquito control, they tend to think about spray, right? And 25 weeks in Illinois is about the length of a mosquito season here. So it's about what, like 175 days. So for York Township, we're actually only doing adult mosquito control potentially 6 nights out of those 175 days. So really focus on the larval control part here. We are going out, we're inspecting some of these areas like retention ponds, places that are treating. We're doing dips. When we find breeding, we treat them with larvicide product, which is not a spray. This is just what the dipping looks like. It's just a little cup on a stick, but it does the trick. And then we can use things like backpacks. We also, to shoot the larvicide into these areas. We also, there's an example of like our bikes that we use to treat your catch basins. Catch basins are super important to have treated because the Culex mosquitoes that carry and transmit West Nile virus love to breed in those gunky, stagnant bodies of water. Those kind of conditions of catch basins is a great place for them. It's usually right in front of someone's house. And then we also have the helicopter. So sometimes people see our helicopter, and you might get questions about this, because we do helicopter applications in York Township. This is not a spray. We're using our helicopter to put larvicide into areas that are either too big or too complicated to treat by hand or with a backpack. And before I jump on to this next section.
What does that look like?
The larvicide?
You say you're not spraying from the
Yeah.
helicopter, but you're targeting larvicides. Are you dropping little bombs of chemicals? But I don't understand.
So this goes into your catch basin. You can pass it around if you want. It's a tablet. Think about it like kind of like an Alka-Seltzer. Dissolves in water. This dissolves in your catch basin. As it's dissolving, it's coating the basin. And then for a period of, the one that we use here is for a period of 30 days. We come out each month and put them in on the bikes. So if you see people on bikes dropping things into basins, it's
That's what it is. Okay.
yeah.
So how does that work with the
So with the helicopter we use.
Alka-Seltzer challenge?
Yeah. I tell people, so I grew up with cats. I tell people it looks like kitty litter a little bit, but this is what comes out of the helicopter. So, and you can pass this around too. It's the same thing, just one has a 30-day residual. One is kind of like a upon contact kill, but it's a similar product. So that is dropped out of the helicopter. It goes straight down. We have to follow certain rules in terms of wind conditions and all different things like that. But there's not really any drift associated with it. It's going straight into the water. And it reacts with the physiology of the mosquito larvae, and, it will kill them in the larvae state.
And then, side effects of using that brand of products for other wildlife?
There are none. This works on mosquitoes and it works on midges, and that's it. So this won't hurt like dragonfly nymphs. It won't hurt anything else in the water. Actually, this whole line, did you guys get to see this sort of, or do you wanna see it, or sure? Yeah. So, like, yes, similar to that. The only difference is that, it's contact limb ingestion, for the mosquitoes. And the really cool thing about this product is that actually, we were the recipient of the EPA's Green Presidential Chemistry Award for this product, which is like huge. It's OMRI listed, so it's approved for use in and around organic farms in terms of like the greenest thing you could use for mosquito control. It's this. The active ingredient is derived from soil-dwelling bacteria. It's called spinosad, and there's really no resistance to it, so it's very cool. But yeah, this is for the catch basins. This is for pretty much everywhere else. So this is your larvicide that we use in the township. Okay, so then the next.
Trustee Rego, did Emily answer your question? I'm
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and if I'm going like too quick or all over the place, just let me know too. So the other component of your program is surveillance. So throughout the summer months, we have different kind of traps in York Township. We also have traps throughout the county and throughout the state. The surveillance component is traps that allow us to monitor mosquito populations in real time. We also have models that we use sort of like a weather forecast to forecast when the broods are gonna emerge. So those are our light traps. They catch all different kinds of mosquitoes, and we identify them to species. Some people are like, why do you do that? Well, the reason is, and just so you know, we also share the data with like public health agencies too, is because you never know when like some new mosquito-borne illness is gonna surface. Like we had Zika surface. More recently, we have Eastern equine encephalitis. So it's important to know if the mosquitoes that carry and transmit those viruses and those diseases are local, and then we can take action based upon that. So that's just part of your program. We identify everything so that we know. We also have traps that monitor for West Nile virus. We call those grabber traps, and they capture the female Tulas mosquitoes. They kind of trick them into thinking that it's a good place for them to lay their eggs, capture them live, and then we can do testing on them to see if they're carrying West Nile virus. So if you ever hear people say like, oh, there's a lot of positives, that's how we know. It's sort of like, this is how we know, this is our indicator before people start getting sick. And again, we have those traps. DuPage Health Department, the county, they have traps as well. Also, the state has traps. Also, the Forest Preserve has traps. So we all have traps throughout York Township, DuPage County, and the really cool thing is we all share our data with each other. So some of the traps we run, some of the traps are run by other agencies, but once a week we pull all of our data together so that we can see, for the benefit of everyone, where the public health issues are or aren't. And this is like just what this trap's for. The big one right here is the light trap. And there's other versions of these that all kind of do the same thing, but they don't look especially tacky, but they are. And then sort of the leg of your program that's used to supplement everything else that we're doing is the adult mosquito control, and that's what most people are familiar with when they think about mosquito control. That's the fine mist that comes out of the truck. The applications are typically done between dusk and dawn. It's a contact kill, so it'll knock down the populations pretty much immediately, and then takes them a while to rebuild. So, again, York Township has an integrated pest management program. You're doing all the larviciding, the adult control when conditions warrant, and the program goals have historically been, public health, right? It's one goal, quality of life as another goal. So I know Tim and I have talked a little bit, he's like, well, people wanna know, like, how do you know when to spray, right? Like, how do we know when to spray? How do we know when is a good time to do an application? When isn't? What dictates that? So again, we go back to that surveillance component of what we're doing. So the first thing is there a local presence of West Nile virus? Is it present in the township? And how often are we seeing it, right? And that data, again, is pulled from Clark, the Department of Public Health, DuPage Health Department, and other local health departments throughout Illinois, but for purposes of here, DuPage, and the DuPage Forest Preserve. The other factor is that there's high nuisance activity. So from those mosquito traps, we can see when the populations are spiking, really to like well above nuisance levels. So that's like real-time data that we're seeing in the traps within the township. We also have models that predict when roots are going to emerge. So we don't ever want to spray you on a Tuesday, and on a Thursday we know a ton of mosquitoes are going to be hatching. We'll wait, and then when they peak, we'll knock them down. It's not really like a comfort program. That might be something people have in their own yards or with their HOAs. This is, again, something that we're doing when the conditions are warranting that action. The EPA and CDC have a joint statement on mosquito control in the United States. And both entities recommend that if spraying is done, that professional mosquito control organizations use IPM strategies, but if there is a need for to do the adult mosquito control applications, to prudently use those under certain circumstances. So the two circumstances I explained are the ones that we are working with. Another question that we get a lot is it safe? Is it safe for humans when we do the applications? This is kind of like a FAQ sheet from the CDC. And so, is the spray harmful to people, pets, animals, or the environment? And CDC says no when it's done correctly, and that's the big key. When it's done correctly, truck spraying will not harm people, pets, animals, or the environment. We always say the label is the law, and everyone that works for us knows that. So if you're applying according to the label, there should not be issues with human or pet exposure. The other question we get asked a lot is, what about our pollinators? Is what you're doing affecting our pollinators? There's been actually a lot of studies done on this. And before I get into those, I just like to highlight these three things. Timing, really comes down to timing, dose, and droplet size. So when are you spraying? How much are you spraying? And then droplet size is just what's coming into contact with the insect while it's in flight. So we do our applications between dusk and dawn. It's when pollinators like bees and butterflies are not active, they're in their hives. It's actually great for mosquito control because the adult mosquitoes are most active at night. And it's a contact kill. So what that means is there's no residual from this product. Like if it's on a leaf the next morning, or if something is sort of like indirectly sprayed, it's not going to kill it. Even a mosquito. If a mosquito lands on like a leaf that has been sprayed the night before with this mist, it will not die. The mosquito has to actively fly through the mist, and these little teeny tiny droplets have to roll up into its soft spots in order for the adult mosquito to die. The dose is really important too. And all of this is on the label. So again, the label is the law, but all of this is on the label, and the dose that we're using, the amount that we're using is designed to kill something the size of a mosquito. So it's not enough to harm a bee, it's not enough to harm a moth, it's not enough to harm a lightning bug. So there was there's other studies too, but the example that I would have put up it would have been a 3-part study that was funded by a grant from the EPA to evaluate the effects of pesticides on honeybees. And the project was a collaboration from like the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Louisiana State University, local beekeepers, and basically they did things you wouldn't normally do in the field. So again, in the field we're spraying at times when pollinators aren't active, but in this study they actually sprayed the bees in cages at pretty like 50 feet or so away, so pretty close, at a higher than normal concentration. And what they found was there were no significant differences were observed in bee mortality, pulmonary health, in detoxification enzymes between the bees that had been sprayed, again with rates closer to what you would use for mosquito control, the bees that had not. So again, the 3 factors, dose and timing and droplet size, really come into play a lot when it comes to being observant and responsible with sort of pairing these 2 needs of protecting pollinators and also protecting public health. So that is something that we're extremely cognizant and careful about. The last slide that I have here, before I can take questions and things like that, is just, and this is already on the township's website, but Clark does provide a hotline and a resident online portal. We provide this to all of our customers, and we have for years. I'm not sure if everyone was made aware of it, but it exists, and Tim has put it on the website as well. But residents can call the 800 number. There's the rest of it, sorry about that. They can call the 800 number, or you can go online to our portal. It's Clark, CLARKE portal.com/hotline. And you can find out information about your mosquito control program. You can register for spray notifications if you want to know, like, if you want to get notified before a spray happens. The afternoon of the spray, you can get a text or a phone call, whatever you select, and it'll say this is happening tonight. If for some reason due to weather it gets rescheduled, you'll get a call the day that it's rescheduled. You can also report standing water as part of your program because again, larval control is so important. So if you have standing water in your yard, you can go on here and we'll come out. Usually it's within like a day or 2, we'll come out and we'll see if there's any breeding and we'll treat it if you need to. And then we can answer any questions that you might have as well. So with that, I will take questions I tried to cover.
So, Emily, one question that I had for you is, can you describe the municipalities within York Township?
Yeah.
What they do
So
that's the same as what York Township does, and what is different?
Yep. So York Township's program aligns with Northwood Terrace, Oak Brook, and Amherst. Those are communities that have a program pretty much exactly like the one that you have. Other communities like Lombard and Willow Park do not do as much of the adult mosquito control. So again,
Which is the spray?
the spray, yeah. So York Township's program has, like I said, historically been one that was designed for public health and quality of life. So your program aligns more with Elmhurst, Oak Brook, Oak Brook Terrace, Downers Road. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they're on the Earth Right Sustainability Program, right?
Lombard is Earthright, Elmhurst is Earthright, and Oak Brook Terrace is Earthright. The difference that, basically the reason that, Brook Township is not Earthright is we use all the same larvicide in here. It's the adult control portion, we use a different product for adult control.
Okay.
So we use, a synthetic pyrethroid, here. We use a botanical insecticide, so it's a natural pyrethrin, and some of the other communities.
What is a pirate?
So it's kind of interesting, it's derived from a chrysanthemum flower. It's the exact same thing as, in terms of like how it functions, as the pyrethroid. One is more synthetic and has a couple extra ingredients that allow it to do what it needs to do. Whereas the other is essentially like, the flowers get picked, they get dried in the sun, they get, processed, and that is what is straight from the flower, without any synthetic component. So, again, when either product lands in the morning on a leaf, it's not doing anything. So it having any residual doesn't matter in terms of efficacy, right? The product that's a natural pyrethrin, it's called Maris, biodegrades within like 4 hours, whereas the other product that, like any other product, really, that's really the only one that exists. That's, it's also approved for use in and around organic farms, things like that. So the other product will biodegrade usually within like 24 hours. But again, it's not really doing anything when it's on the grass or on the leaf, because there has to be that contact all the time.
So, are there products that you typically use? Because I know that during the day, mosquitoes tend to hide underneath the leaves.
There are other products that are applied that we don't apply on behalf of the township. And those are usually, we call them backpack barrier treatments, and those do have a residual. And when you apply those, you have to be really careful to not hit any flowers, but they're still okay to use. But it's not a product that we're using in the township's program, it's a product that you would use more for like a backyard spray. Something, cause you don't wanna like broadcast it, it has to go onto the vegetation. So maybe if you lived up against a forested area, that would be kind of like your ideal place to put something like that. Or, for example, like we do like event treatments for like the Chicago Botanic Garden, and we're in Arboretum, and places like that, and some communities as well, but it's an event treatment. So it would be for a very small, like a more localized area, we might use a product like that has a residual.
And how long is the residual?
Depending on what you use, it could be 2 to 3 weeks. But again, that's not a product that's in your program, because this is like more like a community treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you do the sprays when they're planted.
Yes.
So after you monitor the levels, if there's presence in the style, and so on. This is specific to our contract, and we get 5 sprays a year, or 5 sprays a season. It's like six sprays a season. What happens if it's not warranted to have 6? Like, you only see 2 instances of when you need to spray. What happens with those other sprays?
So-
Or do you just find a way to get those 6 sprays in?
No, I mean, I can say that there hasn't been a time where we haven't used 6. It's mostly because the reason that you have that number is because, in this particular area, because of the infrastructure, because of the water, and especially, like there were 2 human cases in Lombard, West Nile virus last year. This specific area is like I don't wanna say it's a hot spot, because it's not anything that but there is always significant activity between all the communities within the township. So we've only done 1 application so far. We're already in like almost the second week of July. What you'll tend to see happening, typically we see the West Nile virus cycle amplify towards the end of July into August and September. So that's when more of your adult applications will most likely be used. Although there have been times too, this year isn't one that's particularly awful, but there have been years where due to all the rain conditions, we're capturing like usually they say 30 in a trap because the time that we have it operating, 30 in a trap is high nuisance. But we would be catching like consistently like hundreds, sometimes thousands in the traps. So there were times too, like you might get an application in June, you might get more in earlier July, but not this year because again, the conditions haven't warranted a June spring. Yeah.
So I have a question, actually a couple. So the tablets that you drop, how do they compare with the ones that you can, consumer could purchase at a hardware store like put in a burn bin? Is it the same product?
So it's a bit different because what would go into a burn bath, but it accomplishes a similar thing, right? The residual is longer, and it's there's essentially more of it to cover one area than what we put in the, but we do actually sell and sometimes provide small versions of what I showed you. They're called ET tablets, and they're about the size of like I have two boys like the size of like their kids' Tylenol. They're small and you can drop them into rain barrels or things like that. But typically we just tell people with their baths to just run some fresh water through it or tip it or flip it every 3 days. Yeah.
And
But these would be better because these would be like better grade
Right.
than what you get at like Home Depot.
And then the contact information you gave required is the same whether you go to a municipality or the company itself. So
Yeah.
that's the same contact information.
Yeah.
that you put in our government. Okay. And then the last thing is that I've been hearing a lot about ticks this year. So do you do anything for controlling the ticks?
Ticks are a little bit more complicated. What we can do is we're primarily mosquito driven and focused. But the product that I was talking about, I think Alan asked about it, was the backpack one, right? So it's a product, it's that same product. It's applied in a different way because depending on what you're controlling, like if you're using stuff for agriculture or for mosquitoes or for ticks, it's all a different set of rules. And so for ticks, the way we apply it is a bit different. We can apply it to like grass, we can apply it to, for example, if you have like, again, like trees bordering your home or like a trail, we can hit that, but the only problem is it'll create like a buffer that usually goes 6 feet on each side. So if you have like a dog, I have dogs and they're not the smartest ones, I think, but if you have like a dog or if you have a kid or whatever, and if they run into whatever it is, the forest, they run in and they go past that 6-foot line, they cross it, and they pick up ticks, they can bring them right back in. So ticks are a bit trickier to control, but for like, if it's for like your home or if it's for like a specific event space that the township is concerned about, if there's a park and you're seeing a lot of them and you're having a movie night, let us know and we can take a look at it and see what we can do.
Right.
Can I ask another question? Just to like, so we know what's going on in a different town versus our town. I noticed in Lombard, they have a much different, that was the only contract they had, was the Lombard's contract so far. They have a much different, verbiage in their contract. So I'm guessing that you have not been spraying Lombard, right?
Lombard has done, recently like implement treatments here and there.
Okay. So they do, but I think their language says that like Lombard approves when you spray, right? Whereas
Yeah.
ours is like, we give you permission to spray when you feel appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Is that the primary difference you think between those contracts?
It is. So Lombard has, like you said, different coverage. So it's like if they wish to approve a treatment, they can. They have product pricing and all of that within. Whereas So what we do is, we'll say, hey, it's time, and at any point, anyone can say, no, we don't want to. Most of the time, since we're looking at all the data every day, like in the summer, literally every day, like tons and tons of like trap numbers, but since we're looking at every day, they usually will go, and then what we'll do is like we'll group everyone to go at the same time. And that's super beneficial because that way, you know, you can get a broader area of coverage down with those mosquitoes. Especially again when there's less risk activity in the area. So yeah, but I would say that's an accurate understanding.
So does Lombard not do, do you do surveillance in Lombard?
We do.
You still do.
And all the websiting and
you would recommend, you know, we're going out to spray to, you know, walk to those.
correct.
The spray.
Yeah, we will make, especially, so what we'll see happening is like I don't like to use like positive trap numbers, but like for this purpose, I will. For example, last year, Oak Brook had two positive mosquito collections, right? Lombard had 18, which means that like in the month of August, especially, multiple times a week they were collecting positives. So was a recommendation maybe to do an application on our end? Yes. In other scenarios, yes, if we touch base with that. But again, every community gets to decide, you know, what they want their program to be. So Works has been public health, quality of life, so we are where we are with the program. But if there's a need to adjust that, you know, it's changing products or changing strategies, we certainly could.
I guess I think this is just a clarification, but it might be directed towards our attorney or Tim. So my understanding is, because we don't have a special assessment on the specific areas that we are applying the mosquito abatement program to, the township, this comes out of general township fund, right?
Correct.
So people in the unincorporated areas are covering the cost and it's only being sprayed in the unincorporated areas. Right?
Correct.
So this is a question for Supervisor Curry or attorney. Does the road district have their own abatement program, or is that combined with?
No, this is one program for York Township, and right now it is under the board's purview.
Okay, so maybe I'm misreading or misspeaking, but during the audit, the checks paid to Clark. So during my financial audit this month, I noticed that the checks paid to Clark came from the road district department. Is that correct?
Right.
And so Commissioner Herring signs those checks or those invoices, but it's part of the township.
Those are signed by myself through the road fund. So the actual dollar amounts come out of Commissioner Hearing's road fund.
Got it.
Yes,
Okay, but it's under township board purview.
correct,
The funds come from the road district.
correct.
Okay, thank you, just wanted to.
Any other questions for Clark?
I can leave my cards or I don't know if it's do a pickup when we're there or pass them out. Yeah, and then if anyone has any other questions at any point, or if the residents do, feel free to reach out.
Presentation with the minutes or no?
You can email your presentation to the clerk so they can be included in the minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll compress the pictures.
They just want to see the pictures, the ladies.
So that was a significant amount of our new business Does anybody else have any new business?
Yes.
Trustee Sutherland?
I would love to propose looking into getting new AV equipment for these meetings. So we are. I think we have been doing our best with the equipment that we have inherited. It might be time to upgrade the equipment, provide some live streaming ability so we can, for our community members who aren't able to join us in person, would love to get, them the opportunity to watch live, or watch later on YouTube. So I would love to maybe get something on the agenda next month on, if needed, for our approval to upgrade our audio, visual, sound. I think the speakers could also use some updating as well. It's sometimes very hard to hear you even with the microphone. So yes, I would like to do that for next month if possible.
Thank you, Trustee Sutherland. I will try to.
I will volunteer my services if needed.
Thank you. I will try to get that accomplished even under the $15,000 limit that I have, so I can execute that before next month's board meeting. Thank you. Trustee Moore?
Yes, also under new business, I'd like to propose establishing a community garden on our property. I've done some preliminary measurements looking at the south side of the building and having some raised beds constructed there. I'm going to find out about how materials that we can construct them and maintain them for our citizens of the township that live nearby. Food insecurity is a major thing. It's approaching critical mass, just like you see the food pantries are increasing. And a lot of people just like to be able to garden and just don't have opportunities, especially our seniors who may not have a property they used to have. And we may benefit by having some of that abundance come back into the pantry or into our own kitchen.
Okay.
I'm trying to do this for minimal cost. I'm going to, like I said, see about getting the materials, the labor, and the construction of public service projects in various areas.
Great, thank you. Any other new business? So at that, we'll bring to old business. Any old business? Attorney, Mr. Odelson?
I just want to say thank you for having confidence in our firm. Thank you. It's an honor to represent York Township. As I told the supervisor before the meeting started, it was 37 years ago this month that I was appointed as the attorney in York Township. So this is my second time around. I served about 10 years under 3 different supervisors at that time, and it's very nice to be back with this group. And again, we represent 15 or 16 townships in a lot of municipalities. Please use us as a source. Again, townships, we've been doing it for 40 plus years, so we kind of know our way around. Ross Suckler, who's our primary attorney for townships, is the president of the Illinois Townships Attorneys Association, and we're very active in the association. Representing so many different townships in 4 different counties, we see a lot and we hear a lot, so we're here to help you maybe cut short some of your investigations to point you to the township that already has it. So just thank you for the moment to thank everybody. Gabby Collier, raise your hand, young lawyer, also doing township law with us. She's not billing the township for her tonight. She's here to be an assistant, learn, and take notes. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Earlson. Appreciate it. Hearing no other old business, may I have a motion for adjournment to our regular board meeting Tuesday, August 12th, commencing at 7:30 p.m.
And motion to adjourn.
I second.
And a second, any discussion? And this, we could have a hand vote. All those in favor, aye? Verbal aye? Any nays? Motion carried. Thank you, public, for attending our monthly board meeting. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Emily. I thought that was very interesting.
From the time that I left in the morning to the time that I came home at 4 o'clock. Yeah. And so, I'm like, hey, I gotta go to this meeting. She just texted me. So that's good. But I'm thinking that's COVID. So thanks for the help. Andrew's coming by tomorrow. He's take a look. He's whispering in my ears. He says, that's why. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to him tomorrow. Yeah. Right. I didn't well, I had to call this to see if I could publicly acknowledge that, because he said explicitly, that he's taking any unsolicited. So I think, I wanted to make sure that I talked to him. So, look forward to January rolling around.
Let me turn this off.